Today on the sinking workshop, we're going to make a lot of noise with this old hammer. Let's shake the spiders out of the whole thing. Woo! It's a sticky. It's sticky. So today's project is going to involve a little bit of fire, a little bit of weld. Hopefully if the welder still runs. I haven't run that in a while. And a little blacksmithing. And this is what we're working on. So this wonderful gem right here we found at a local hardware store, which is a bird feeder. Kind of looks like a little house with a cupola thing on the top, and the weather vane. Anywho, the wife loves it, wants it in the ground like yesterday. And so on the bottom of this house, there is a little place right down here. It's about 1 inch in diameter, maybe a little bit bigger than 1 inch, that you can use to put a post in there. It has a special little adapter that goes there. It's plastic to go on top of a post, a wooden post, but I'm a big fan of metal, so I'm just going to actually use this piece of Schedule 40 3/4 ID. And just a little note, I grew up poor, and it pains me deeply to pay for a piece of metal. I usually, whenever I find a piece of metal, I'll just grab it. Okay, I paid about $20 for this stick, about 10 feet long. Actually 8 feet now, because I had to cut off a couple feet. I let them do it with their special cutter thingy at the home store. And anywho, so what I need to do is I need to put like a spike of some sort on this end right here. So I'm going to forge kind of a little tapered spike, and then I'm going to weld this in right here. So then we can drive it into the ground. All right, well, I found a piece of metal. This is about 3/4 of an inch or a little less. Seems to fit kind of loose inside the pipe. I seem to recall this piece of steel as, I believe it was a shaft for one of the ink rollers in a printing press that they were going to throw away. A place I used to work many years ago. And, yep, still have it. Haven't done anything with it. Just let it kind of patina a little, that's all. So I'm going to forge a taper on one end using a little giant power hammer. So, funny story about this thing is it's a 1941 little giant power hammer, and it was actually used at a manufacturing facility that made TNT explosives for World War II. So go figure. A blacksmith shop at a TNT factory, and it lived to tell the tale. So this is my propane fired forge. Just recently rebuilt it just because it fell over in a windstorm. Oops, there's windstorm, and then it kind of fell to pieces when it hit the ground. Having a little bit of a problem this morning. One of the jets inside here I think is plugged up, so I'm just going to take this apart. Let's just pull these two off there and clean them out. Basically, it's just a welding tip. Think about a 30 thousandths tip. I'll use some torch cleaner and just clean them out. Now, is it just me, or is when you go and look for a socket, is every 7/16 socket in the planet just like disappear somehow? Because I'm pretty sure I've never been able to find a 7/16 socket. Give me a little comment about that. That and 10 millimeter, I think they just disappear as soon as you buy them. All right, well, that wasn't too bad. So these are what I'm talking about right here. You can just kind of see this little bump right here. Those actually have a tiny little hole about, in this case, it kind of looks a little more like a 22 thousand, 23 thousandths hole or so. So what I'll do is I'll just take these torch cleaners All right, they're like a little file. Those of you who do not know what a torch cleaner is, okay, kind of have these like these little tiny needle files used to clean out the torch tip if it gets plugged up. So I'm gonna guess right there-ish. Ah, so close. Actually, that was size for size. This one. All right. Yeah, you just put them in there and clean that up a little. This up a little. So if there was any like little blockage in there, it's no longer anymore. So So if everything goes as planned, I should burn all the remaining hair off my hand, maybe even catch my shirt on fire. And most importantly, I'm going to heat up this piece of metal so that I can smack it in the hammer. So here we go. Moment of truth. See if I fix this thing. Yep, all my hair's gone. Well, my workpiece is getting kind of warm, so I'm going to go ahead and fire up the hammer. I just put some oil up there so that hopefully it doesn't seize up on me. There we go. Alright, so my next step will be to just cut off a piece long enough beyond that spike so I can fit it inside the pipe and get out my my big electronic gluing machine and stick it together. It's been a little while since I've used my, my welding helmet. Take a few minutes and clean out the tenants in there. So before I weld anything, I like to clean the metal pretty good. I use this rapid skin remover wheel, flap disc, and just grab a hold. And I'm just going to clean it up before I actually cut it. Well, when you don't have a bucket of water handy, just find some water anywhere on your property. That worked pretty good. And just get it in there and cool it off a little. Yeah, nice. There. Good enough. Sorry about the hum, but I got you sitting on my welder. Alright. So this is my nice saw. Just gonna cut off a chunk of metal. Got a few things in the way. I'll just set this gently here. Perfect. tighten it up. That looks about good. This is my little grinder. Just to take the burrs off the edge there. Oh, this is going to be pure magic. That's going to fit in there just like that. No, just bubble gum that in there real good. And we'll be on to our next step. Yeah, here goes nothing. You definitely don't want to wear gloves when you do this. Surprisingly straight. It's lovely when your battery's dying in your welding helmet too. It's that whole full visual effect of what welding fire actually looks like, unshaded. Alright, so I'm just gonna continue to blind myself. Gorgeous. Well, I'm no Picasso, but I mean, that's like art right there. I think we're ready to kind of take the skin remover there and clean her up a little, just a little. It doesn't really matter, it's going into the ground anyway. And then we'll work on the other side. There we go, nice and smooth. Shouldn't encounter too much resistance on our way down and through the earth. All right, again, on to the next side. Video would be no good if I didn't test it. Yeah. Hey, it worked. Staying on its own. So we had this momentary lapse of brain fart. I was going to, seeing as though this started to like force thread itself inside the bottom of this, I was gonna go with that. The only problem is filling this feeder would be kind of ridiculous. So I'd have to get a ladder like every time. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is just grind off these threads, put a little bit of a taper, clean this up, and then have it be more or less a slip fit onto a taper and sort of lock itself on there. And we'll see how that goes. All right. So everything looks pretty good. It's tapered really well. This thing kind of friction locks on there. All right, the big thing that I'm noticing is the angle here and the angle here. I'm actually going to bend this to straighten this back out, and I think we'll be there. Tech tip: if you don't have a protractor kicking around and you have a table saw, well, just grab that. So this is about the angle I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and bend my pipe to this angle. So I'm going to use the old smoky wrench to bend this. Well, we'll try that. See how that works. That doesn't look too bad. So you look at the relationship between this plane here and the length of the pole. You'll see that it's pretty close to being about 90 degrees. See that? Got a little bit of, I had to bend it a little, as you can see, right? And then it fits right in there nice and tight. So, all in all, I think it's a success. I didn't think I had to bend that until I got to this point, but you know, this is how these types of things go. And I think I'm overall pretty happy with it. So next thing I'll do is just kind of take off some of this scale a little bit with a wire wheel. This is always a fun part, seeing if I have any paint that hasn't frozen to death here in New England in my lovely workshop. Let's see here. Where would the paint department be? Oh, there's something. So, give you an idea where the paint department is. Yeah, somewhere right in here. Just gotta reach for it, that's all. There we go. What do we got? Gloss. I'm assuming black. All right, let's see if it works. Oh yeah, cool. This just makes everything look better. All right. So I had this other earth-shattering epiphany. So I think what I'm going to do is actually make a leg, and then I'm going to weld it on there so that I can use my feet that put it into the ground. With that angle that's bent at the top, it's going to be really hard for me to hit it and drive it into the ground. So if I use my feet and just kind of, you know, use all of me to put it into the ground, I'm feeling like that might be the amazing idea of the day. So here we go. Same piece of material that I used to forge the spike, except because of the size of it, I don't think I'm going to have a problem driving this into the ground. So I have it in a vise. I'm going to actually heat it up right here, and then I'm going to bend it at close to 90 degrees as I can. So here we go. Alright, I'll check it with my gauge. It looks pretty good. If I like it, I'm just going to go ahead and weld it on. So what's a really important thing to do is make sure you're surrounded by propane tanks when you weld. It makes for a much more spectacular video. Alright, well I think I got it mocked up pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put a few tacks on there. Suppose you're talking about moving that tank. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Alright, just check it out real quick, make sure it looks good. Feeling pretty good about that. Yeah, there we go. Should be welded on there pretty good. All right, now I have that leg, I can drive it into the ground. Clean it up a little bit, maybe I'll splatter a little paint on there and call it a day. All right, moment of truth. Get in there, you. Well, here we go. In the ground, sitting fairly straight up and down, a little bit of a lean. That's okay. The seeds will roll forward, and yeah, it's fairly attractive against the landscape. Yep. Go over down in there just a little further. So I think that's a job well done. I'm getting a big heart sign from the wife in the window, and that definitely means it's a job well done. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Sinking Workshop. Hope you like what you saw today, and hit the subscribe button if you really like it, and leave me a comment. Hit the like button, hit the dislike button, just tell me why, and we'll see you next time. Take care.